We got some groundbreaking updates to the Janelle Grant Vince McMahon lawsuit, and yeah, it just keeps getting worse. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about that. Plus, we made our Royal Rumble predictions. We've heard of the rumors of who might be in town. Now we got some updates on that. And of course, we're going to talk a little bit about CM Punk and some stuff that he said about Triple H. It's all coming up right here on The Ango Show. Thank you everybody for stopping by. Welcome to the channel. It is February 1st. It is a new month. And of course, we have a lot of big things happening this weekend. I will be live following Royal Rumble. What a wonderful time, guys. What a big period of time for pro wrestling. Just everything is going so well in the industry. CM Punk is chiming in on this, and he was talking a little bit about the creative process under Triple H. And, you know, anytime CM Punk is kind of in the headlines, it's interesting because CM Punk, you know, I think a lot of times people forget that CM Punk also had issues with Triple H, right? It wasn't that CM Punk just had issues with Vince McMahon, but it was reported many, many years ago that CM Punk also didn't like Triple H. So seeing that they were able to come together and CM Punk has been doing extremely well in the WWE, it's obviously been very fascinating. Now, this past weekend, he was on Pat McAfee's show, and he actually was talking about Triple H and the big difference between Triple H and Vince McMahon. And he said that Triple H is basically more open to other people's ideas, and he is willing to take more feedback from people. He says that I think he's receptive to other people's ideas, whereas maybe Vince wasn't. He was like, I'm the boss, we're doing this, and this is how we're doing it. And that's great. If you run a company, you need somebody who is the yes and no man and has the final say. But I think Triple H thinks he's surrounded, and oftentimes is, by a lot of really, really genius wrestling minds. If he has an idea or sees something one way, he'll look at Michael Hayes and be like, what do you think? He'll turn and look at Paul Heyman. These are people who have bona fide resumes. They have literally done everything you possibly could do in the sport. I think their voices should be heard. Not all the time, and everybody is going to have this dynamite idea, but I think the best idea always wins in today's WWE. Wow. This is good stuff, right? This is good stuff. It's good to see that CM Punk and the WWE are just on good terms, right? I think that's really important. I think that's like a big win for the company. But also for CM Punk, man, this guy was surrounded by a lot of drama and negativity, you know, at AEW. And for him, it was either, listen, you have this issue again or you're out. And I think a lot of people anticipated CM Punk to be problematic. So far, he's been back in the company for a while now. We haven't seen issues. The fact that CM Punk is openly praising Triple H is very crazy because, like I said, there was a time period where Punk did not like Triple H. And the reality is, you know, man, maybe he is on his final strike. Who knows, right? Obviously, if you're going off reports, you never really know. But it's interesting to say the least. All right, guys, if you don't like Royal Rumble spoilers, this could be a spoiler, you know? But if you watch my prediction show, then maybe this isn't necessarily a spoiler because I've been making predictions. Now it seems like those things could very well potentially happen. We have Matt Cardona on the picture, but he's not the only one. Matt Cardona and Mickie James are both being spotted at the WWE hotel where all the talent are staying in Indianapolis. He was spotted there. PWInsider.com came out with this report. I want to talk about this a little bit. Obviously, I did my Royal Rumble predictions long before the reports came out. And obviously, I have a couple interesting surprises and swerves. If you guys didn't watch it, you should watch it. The prediction live stream was absolutely incredible this year. It was really, really fun, really great turnout, high viewership, a very engaging chat. And for me personally, it was really fun making these predictions. But the Royal Rumble is tonight, man. And you never know how WWE is going to do surprises. Just because somebody's at the hotel doesn't mean they're actually going to be in the match. That doesn't mean Matt Cardona is going to be in the match, right? And that's what makes this really fun. I say this every year. You might hear of people being at the talent hotel. You might hear of people being at the airport. There's a running gag, you know, long before CM Punk came into the company, that maybe he would be in the Royal Rumble. It's just like, this is the beautiful part of the wrestling business, right? You really don't know what to expect with the Royal Rumble. And I think this year it's actually even more intriguing and more unpredictable because they have absolutely stacked the deck. And for WWE to go in and try to make this less predictable is just, I think it's become a very engaging event. There's a reason why Royal Rumble this year is on pace to sell out more than WrestleMania, which is very awesome for WWE. But I think even for us fans, man, like if you're a fan of WWE, if you're a fan of the Royal Rumble, if you're a fan of these big PLEs, You obviously want to see what they're going to do. And this is one of those moments. This is one of those times where, you know, Matt Cardona being in WWE makes a lot of sense. Mickie James being in the Royal Rumble makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of legends who could be in the Royal Rumble. And guess what? There's a lot of people who could just be sitting in the crowd, right? Matt Cardona could be sitting in the crowd, and that's it. If he's not in the Royal Rumble match, I would love for WWE to do what they did in NXT back in the day, where free agent signings would sit in the crowd and they would introduce them. They did that a lot for NXT. They don't do that in the main roster. Last time they did that was Julia, but she went to NXT. I would love to see them do something with Matt Cardona. If he's not in the Royal Rumble, if he's not a surprise entrant, it would be really cool to see some of these people sitting in the crowd. And that's what it could be too. Just keep that in mind. It doesn't mean they're necessarily on the show. My predictions, I feel were pretty damn close to what I think could potentially happen. I genuinely believe there's a possibility that those things could happen. So if you guys didn't watch that and you got some free time today, check it out. And that brings us to Brock Lesnar and the Vince McMahon lawsuit. Obviously, this is a very delicate topic. We have been talking about this since day one, and we have maintained this notion that we are not going to make the assumptions that the IWC is doing, right? These are allegations. It's important to remember that they're allegations. There's a whole legal process. There's a whole process in general until things get figured out. So I've been very, very clear on that. We got to remember that they're allegations. The IWC will kind of, you know, position people as guilty before anything. Obviously, I'm not saying this didn't happen. I'm not saying it did happen. What I'm saying is we have to see the process play out. However, for the longest time, Brock Lesnar was not physically named in the lawsuit. And now it has come out that there was a amended complaint. And basically, Brock Lesnar's name has been listed. So with that being said, the statement from Ann Callis, the attorney for Janelle Grant, she says, Miss Grant's amended complaint reveals new details that further demonstrate the sexual abuse and Janelle Grant suffered at the hands of Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis, and pulls back the curtain on the dangerous workplace culture McMahon created at WWE. Miss Grant looks forward to holding her abusers accountable in a court of law. Reps for Vince McMahon sent out a statement, and their statement was, as expected, the proposed amended complaint is nothing more than the latest publicity stunt in an ongoing smear campaign. It is filled with desperate falsehoods from a team that continues to disregard the law and the truth. So obviously you have two very separate takes. Now, Brock Lesnar being listed officially in the lawsuit, I'm going to read this to you guys. And what it says here is the amended complaint provides new evidence about the sexual abuse carried out by McMahon, Laurinaitis, and WWE, including McMahon offered Miss Grant to WWE superstar Brock Lesnar for a sexual encounter during his formal negotiations of a new contract with WWE, and McMahon ordered Miss Grant to send Lesnar sexually explicit content of herself. McMahon allegedly sent a text message to Grant where he fantasizes in graphic detail about watching as a group of men surrounding her and leaving her physically wrecked. Guys, I could keep going on and on and on. This is like really, you know, got to be very careful here with some of the words that are being used, because I don't know. Obviously, I probably have a little bit of a younger audience too, so just got to be mindful of that. But it gets graphic. It's very, you know, crazy. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. That's you know, Lesnar's name initially wasn't in there. People assumed it was Lesnar, but we don't do assumptions. So now they're officially listing Lesnar on there. We'll see what happens. Now, for those who think Brock Lesnar is coming back, this is probably going to keep him away for a very, very long time. In fact, I would say he's probably never coming back. So that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below.